Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach and author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Have you ever heard someone say, begin with the end in mind? If you've heard that, or if you've read that, you know that comes from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and that is actually habit number 2. And that habit is based on imagination. The ability to see in your mind's eye what you can't see with your own real eyes today. It's based on the principle that all things are created twice, meaning there's that mental picture, that mental creation, that's the first creation. And then the second creation is, of course, the physical creation, where we take what we thought about, that idea, that vision, and we turn it into something tangible. The physical creation follows the mental creation, just like a builder has to follow a blueprint. The blueprint was created first, then the builder can create the building. If you don't make a conscious effort to visualize what you want out of your food truck business, then you empower other people and circumstances to shape you and to shape your business by default. It's all about connecting with your own personal, moral, and ethical guidelines, and then following them and allowing them to make your decisions on every single step of your journey. Begin with the end in mind means to begin each day, each task, each project with a clear vision of your desired outcome and a clear vision of the destination, the end. Where am I going to be? And then make things happen towards that vision, towards that destination. In the food truck business, we all are super excited and make a million plans on how to get open. Some people even make a handful of plans on how to stay open, but they never really think about what happens when I decide I need to leave the business. They don't begin with the end in mind, because the end is the short-term task is, we got to get the food truck open. But the food truck's a business. It has a beginning, a middle, and then it has an end. So how do we end the food truck business? What is going to be the trigger that makes us go, oh, it's time for us to get out of this business? You have to decide what that is. But I'm going to lay out some things that people don't consider that makes them make a premature move to get out of the business. You guys know I work with people every day in this business. I talk to people pretty much all day long. And we always are talking about their food truck business. It's either the dream to get one started, or it's the food truck that's in operation that needs help to become profitable or needs help to generate more sales. But everyone that I talk to, almost without fail, has come from a previous occupation that has nothing to do with food. In many cases, they don't have any real business ownership experience. And every once in a while, they have zero food experience. Never even worked at a fast food restaurant as a teenager. They all have one thing in common, just like you do listening to this show. They have a desire to own a successful food truck. And they're in all different points, from beginning to middle. Recently, I've been contacted by a number of people to sell their trucks, and that's not that uncommon for this time of year. Once you get out of the season, especially up north, when it starts to get into the really chilly weather, people start to look to get out of the business. Some people retire, some people just get frustrated with it, didn't have a good year, weather was an issue, whatever. They get out of the business. And this year is no different. But I had 5 people contact me in the course of about 2 weeks. That's unusual. And they all wanted to sell their trucks for various reasons. Only one of the 5 was actually upgrading to a bigger truck and just wanted some tips on how to sell the trailer they had and be able to make a quick sale so they could put some of that money into the equipment and the remodel of the truck they had bought so they could be ready to open the next season. That's a good reason to sell. The other folks that contacted me to get out of the business weren't happy with the food truck business. From their standpoint, the end that they had in mind never happened. They didn't have the successful business that they thought they would have. Or they did have a successful business, but it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. They all had good work ethics. Matter of fact, most of them were not afraid of the hard work and went into it with enthusiasm. They were fired up to get their trucks open. They all had some commonalities, though. They all came from office jobs of various types. Some of them were bosses, some of them were the mid-management, some of them were just the workers, but they were all in office environments, office settings. And like I said, they started like a house on fire. They made great sales, mostly had decent profits. But as soon as the euphoria of getting that new business open wore off, they found out they just weren't happy. And every one of them complained about the workload compared to the profits. So I'm going to make this super clear to everyone that is listening. A food truck owner is going to be a very physical job. It's tiring, it's sweaty, and some people that have a sheer joy of cooking, that joy evaporate when you have bills to pay, customers going, hey, where's my food? It's been 30 minutes, and you got payroll to meet. It's no longer fun to cook. This is a business. And it can be a fun business, but it's still a business nonetheless. Being a food truck owner is way more than good cooking and good guest service. There are a whole bunch of unsavory tasks that no one likes to do, but still they have to be done. Things like cleaning the fryer, cleaning the hoods, sweeping the floor, scrubbing. And then you got all the other stuff that's just not really fun, like accounting and legal compliance and placing orders and chasing down food and doing scheduling and then training new employees and then trying to figure out what to do as food prices inflate, trying to figure out how I can get staff because no one wants to work, figuring out what I'm going to do when it rains 2 weekends in a row or the weather gets too cold and I got to worry about my pipes freezing and the tanks freezing. There's lots of things beyond cooking and saying, hi, welcome to my food truck. Would you like to buy whatever I've got on sale today? At the beginning of your journey, and even if you're already open, I want you to start thinking about the end goal. What is it you want out of your business? Do you want to have 10 food trucks? Do you want to have 30 food trucks? Do you want to franchise? Do you want to license some great product you've got? Or do you just want to put money into a retirement account? You have to know the end. You have to know where you want to be. And if you think about how will I bow out of this gracefully, you want the business to be intact. You don't want to sell off a piece of equipment because that's all a trailer is. That's all a truck is, a piece of equipment. Will you sell out 1 year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? How do you know when it's going to be time to get out of the business? Have those triggers in place. I will get out of this business when X happens. And if the X happens to be the workload's too hot and too hard and too heavy, just save yourself the time now. Not enjoying food trucking is common. Giving up after a year, that's also common. This business simply is not for everyone. Otherwise, we'd just have a country of 350 million food trucks and we'd all be eating out of each other's food trucks and then whining about oversaturation. If leaving the industry is a nagging thought and it's something that's bugging you, go ahead and make the commitment and get out of the business. Prices are higher right now than they've ever been for used equipment. It's hard to get builders to build something on a timely basis. It's hard for them to get equipment to put inside the trucks and trailers. So if you have a business right now that's operating and you're thinking about getting out, just go ahead and do it. Because if you're mentally thinking about quitting, that's going to reflect in everything you do. Every time you set up, it's not going to be fun anymore. It's going to be a chore. Oh, darn, I've got to set up again. Anytime somebody wants to quit something, allow them to quit. Every one of the people that called me up and said, hey, I'm thinking about selling my food truck, I talked to them, got the details, but I did not try to talk them out of it. But in all those cases, the complaints were the workload doesn't match the profitability, and it's a lot harder than we thought it would be. And all of those things are true. It is hot, sweaty work. It is a chore sometimes to set up and get prepped. It's no fun to be short-handed. It's all in how you look at it. And if it's a chore for you now, it will be a chore for you next year and 2 years from now. If you have a food truck and you're getting ready to close it because you just don't care for the business, that does not make you a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad business person. Doesn't make you a failure. Again, this business is not for everyone. You need to sit back, begin with that end in mind. How do I get out of this business? What is going to make me happy when I'm out of this business? But you deserve to be happy in whatever your chosen field of work is. And if food trucks don't do it for you, then find a business that does do it for you, because you need and you deserve to be as excited as the kids are going to be here in a few days at Christmas time when they wake up and see what's under the tree. You need to feel that way every single day you go to work. If you're not that excited, find a different career path. You've earned it, and you certainly deserve it. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're finding all the information useful to your food truck business, please consider becoming a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep me going. If you guys need a business coach to help your food truck business reach its full potential, check out all of my different services on my website. Links are in the description. I've also got a Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We got a whole bunch of awesome members, and they're at all different levels, from brand new, just thinking about the business, to decades-old veterans. They all have your back, and they all support each other. Check us out. Thank you guys again so much for listening. Come back tomorrow, because you guys know I got plenty to say about the food truck business.